This is the Explain Everything video for question 1B. So just like question 1A, this is also based on source 1. So after you've read through the source, you need to take a look at the question. It's going to ask you what you understand about some aspect of the source. In this case, it's what do you understand about people's feelings towards the oak tree. So you've got to show your understanding by using your own words. So you need to make sure that you have read carefully, and while you're reading this time, you're going to highlight anything that you notice about how people feel about the tree. Okay, so as you read through, you need to underline anything that shows us how people feel about it. So for example, just that quote there where it says it was like a wake suggests to me that the people were treating this tree as though it's an actual person and mourning its loss as though it were a funeral. So I'm going to come back to that because I can write about that in my answer. Okay, so before you start answering the question, you need to make sure that you're aware of how many marks it's worth. In this case, it's worth 4 marks, so that means you should spend 6 minutes on answering the question. Okay, the next thing we're going to have a look at quickly is the mark scheme. So here we've got the mark scheme. So to get 4 marks, you've got to show that it's a clear and relevant answer, and that you have understood the text and you've engaged with it by making inferences. And if you notice there's an S on the end of inferences, that means you've got to make more than one inference, and you need more than one quotations to back up what you've said about it, and you need to make clear statements about people's feelings, because that's what the question is asking you to do. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to write your answer, how to start it off. Okay, so this is how to start writing your answer. You should always start with firstly, because it shows that it's a logical answer. So in your first paragraph, you need to make sure you mention the word understand, so it shows that you're addressing the question. And then you want to make sure that you've got a quote from the text to show that that's where you're getting your understanding from. Always introduce a quote with a comma and then quote marks, and quote it exactly as it says in the text. And then explain and try and make an inference in your explanation, because this shows that you're intelligent and you can read between the lines. And again, make sure it's talking about people's feelings. So this is the final answer. As you can see, I've got 1, 2, 3 paragraphs. Each one's got a quote to show that I'm referring to the text, and each one has got an inference. So I'm using phrases like this suggests to show that I'm making an inference. Again, suggests, and then an explanation after each quote. So you should have 1, 2, 3. Make sure you've got your quotes, and then that should easily secure you the 4 marks.